Hi guys, it's Katya here, and here's a little video I wanted to share with you. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I'm a self-taught artist and illustrator, and I shared my drawings and how-tos here on my channel. This is a process video of my latest illustration for my own picture book project. The goal was to create an illustration with a sense of depth without actually building perspective, achieving it only through tone and warm and cool colors. Also, the character had to be the focal point of the illustration. It's easy for me to come up with stories. I just need a little nudge and pop. There it is. In this one, I thought of drawing a little fox riding hood. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Chasing a mysterious light, a firefly. But the unusual kind, of course, into the deep dark woods. Well, to be fair, since there was no breath and the project was a personal one, I did succumb to my self-drawing habit, and the general idea of the illustration changed several times as I was drawing it. You cannot imagine how many copies of the same illustration I have, trying out different approaches, but this is the final version. First, it was supposed to be night. Then it shifted to day, then night again. I got to a point where I felt so overwhelmed I didn't like either version. However, I made a promise to myself, I will finish everything I start. And I did. First, as you see, came the sketch. I love starting with the character itself and then placing it into the surroundings. The sketch I did was pretty rough, just an idea. I then separated the planes with the tonal values, making the closest things darker and warmer. I did do a sketch of a character, but left refining it for last. Just making sure I had a readable silhouette was enough at that point. I also added the lights, which were necessary to light up everything in the illustration. Since the lantern is the main source of light, it would make or break the whole image. The firefly is also a source of light, but then I decided to make it more mysterious and gave it a blue color instead. That way it stands out, but at the same time it doesn't steal focus from the little fox character. I wanted to mention the brushes I used here. All of these can be found in the basic charcoals section in Procreate, plus one brush from Marco Bucci for the leaves. I really like it, the triangular thingies, and the amber forest brushes. One of them is for the grass, and it kind of gave that grassy effect for me. It took me some time to figure out what texture I wanted for the trees and whether to add a paper texture over the whole illustration to make it feel more hand-drawn. I love using Lisa Glance's textured brushes for that, and I really love the look of hand-drawn illustration as if it was done on paper. But obviously Procreate, which crashes on my iPad because I have a very old iPad, but that's another story. So I really love that in Procreate. You can actually play around with the illustration and make it more interesting and different than what could come out on paper. So it has its own pluses and minuses. As I mentioned, everything gets warmer as it gets closer to the viewer. So the trees in the foreground, I imagine 2 foreground planes, are brownish and much warmer than the ones in the back. When I had the background trees warm, it just kind of broke the illusion of a deep dark forest and broke the illusion of depth in general. Of course, I couldn't not add a little something extra. Thus, the silent observer came to be, sitting in the hollow trunk of the tree on the left. Still don't know who it is, maybe an owl, maybe not an owl. I don't know, what are your thoughts? I did think about the bushes in the foreground. Even though the fox is in the focus and the darkest shape to make it stand out, plus the contrast with the lights and darks helps draw attention to it, I decided to make the bushes in the tree in the first plane darker and cooler. Yeah, kind of contradictory because I had everything coming towards us kind of warm. But this gave me the feeling that the fox is running into even darker woods following the firefly. To be honest, I liked the day idea as well. All the colors were brighter and more cheerful, but it broke the initial concept, so I discarded it. Finally, after tweaking the position of the firefly, I started working on the main character. Yeah, I left it for the last. At first, I wanted to give him or her a green cape, but then the Little Red Riding Hood and me took over, and I left it at that. After putting down the main colors, I added the shadows on another layer using linear burn. Linear burn. There you go. And then tweaked them to make them a bit juicier. And here is the final version. I'm glad I finished it, and I hope this video will be useful to beginner illustrators, because for me, I really struggled with the fact that I was constantly comparing myself to others until the very long work with a therapist and just accepting me as I am. So I know it's far from perfect, but I'm really proud of the fact that I'm doing my best now, and this is the best version of the illustration that I could come up with, and the best effort, the most effort I put into it. I know that I will be improving with every illustration I make. If you'd like to follow my children's illustrator journey, don't forget to subscribe. It would also mean a lot to me if you liked and commented and shared. It helps make the video visible to more people. But for now, thank you for watching and have a wonderful week. Sending you all lots of cozy hugs and inspiration. Bye!